Are your designs looking boring? You can add some life to them using Figma's color gradients. In this video, I'll show you why color gradients are important and different types of color gradients that we can use. I'll show you 3 common mistakes that you should avoid while using the gradients. And at the end, we'll transform some flat UI design using Figma's color gradients. Let's get started. Gradients are a game changer. They add depth and make flat designs pop. You can use them in titles to grab attention, on buttons to make them feel more dynamic, and in the backgrounds to create a vibrant and futuristic vibe. When used right, gradients can really bring your designs to life. These are the different types of gradients we have in Figma. We have linear, radial, angular, and diamond. Let's jump right into linear. In a gradient, the colors are set along a line. So let me give an example. Let's draw a rectangle here. And if I go to the fill, and so this is solid. So this is where we have gradient. Click on that. So the first one is linear. So as you can see, the gradients are set on a line. So this is the starting point, this is the end. So you can just drag the points and move it along the same way. So you can change the color here as well. Let's go with blue and do blue. Yeah, so now you can also change their angle, or you can spread them across like this, or you can add more points and you can change their color as well. Yeah, and also you can delete them from here if you'd like. So the next one is radial gradient. So here the colors are spread out from a central point, creating more like a circular effect. So the center is solid, then it fades into the other color. I'll show you. So I'll just drag this rectangle here, and if now I go to the gradient section and now select radial, so as you can see, the purple is blending more into the blue. So here's the same. You can set the angle, you can add more points in between, you can change the color of that as well. Next we have angular gradient. This gradient creates a circular color transition where the color wraps around the central point like a pie chart, more like a clock in a 360 degrees. I'll show you how to do it. I'll drag this rectangle here, and now if I go to the fill section, then click the drop down. So now we have angular. If I click on it, so as you can see, this is more like a clock. Yeah, so here in the same way you can add more colors and you can delete them here. At last we have diamond gradients. So these are very similar to radial gradient, but instead of forming a circular shape, they form more like a diamond shape. In order to create a diamond gradient, just drag this rectangle, then go to fill, drop down, diamond. So now you can see the shape is not circular anymore, it's more like a diamond. And yeah, it's in the same way you can change. You can add more colors or the angle of the gradient, or you can spread it more to make it subtle. Yeah, so these are the 4 type of gradients that you can use in Figma. When creating gradients, I'd say these are the common mistakes that you need to avoid while designing them. So first one I would say is choosing clashing colors. When you use colors which do not complement each other a lot, they lead to a very chaotic and unpleasant gradient. I'd say always stick to the colors based on the color theory principles, mostly like complementary or analogous or triadic colors. You can use the Adobe color tool. Always select between the complementary or analogous or triadic colors. So the next common mistake I would say is like harsh or uneven transitions. When you create a gradient, the gradient is not that smooth. It does not flow naturally. I'll show you how to fix it. We have this gradient which is going blue to gray. So as you can see, the transition is not that good. So first thing you can do is make sure the gradients spread out properly, and you can do one more thing. You can add one more color right in the center and choose the color picker and pick the color right in the center, as you can see here. Now you can select that color and make the transition somewhat like this. So this way the gradient is transitioning into more like a subtle instead of harsh or uneven transition. And one of the most common mistakes, designers tend to use the gradients a lot Overusing the gradients would lead to a cluttered and overwhelming design. So I would say is like always use gradients wherever it's required. For example, we have this design where you can see the gradient is all over the place, it's chaotic. Overusing the gradient, you can easily fix it using gradient wherever it's required. For example, in the title, in the button, still you're using gradients, but using them very wisely wherever it's required, not causing too much of cognitive load on the user. And we use gradients just to make sure our elements stand out. Now let's fix this landing page. So as you can see, the design is flat, so we'll add more life to it using the gradients. So now let's select this and I'll add a fill gradient. So I'd use more like a radial gradient here. And yeah, let's choose a color. I'll choose the brand color here and somewhat gray shade. So now flip it, change the angle and spread the gradient. I feel somewhat overwhelming, so I'll just reduce the purpleness and get down the gray color more. Yeah, so now we have a good background. So I want the navigation to pop out. You can do is like in Figma, you can also add a gradient to a stroke. So I'll just add this. So now you can see we have the stroke. So I'll go to fill and change this fill linear. Now I'll choose the second color and reduce the opacity to 0%, and this one maybe 60. Yeah, so you can see now the navigation bar here has that more like a 3D depth effect. In the same way, I'll change the fill of the buttons to gradient. So using just gradients, we have converted a flat, boring design from this to this. So this is how you use gradients very usefully and use it where it's required and make your designs more lively and stand out. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to LogRocket for more UI UX tips. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.